think we could listen to the radio or something?
Radio? Who needs a radio? Jerk off!
We have a nice smooth day.
No, we're gonna have to go right to ludicrous speed. Ludicrous speed.
Oh my God!
Somebody help me!
Shut up! We can make a sticker series of this.
What you have just done is illegal, and in this state, if convicted, you could be fined up to $5,000 or spend 6 months in a correctional facility.
You ever seen a grown man naked? Whoa, that was close.
All right.
Yes. Welcome.
Welcome back to the CCC.
C.
PC.
C.
Yes, C. All right. So many C's. Welcome back. I'm Jason Potter.
I am Taylor Morgan.
And
Rocket Joe.
Rocket Joe.
John
Right.
Crockett. Rocket Joe.
What's up? Welcome, John.
On the
Welcome.
CCCPC.
Yeah.
I've filled in for the CCHPC.
Yeah.
So now I've not been on the CCAPC.
No.
But I feel honored to be on the CCCPC.
You're welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
You
It's
are
an honor to have you.
a member now.
I'm a member.
This is our fourth podcast, and now we have a third person
Now we finally
to
have a third
finally join.
I like it. I'm in.
It's
I'm
perfect.
in.
You're here.
Yes.
It's fantastic. John's a funny guy, everybody. He's a really nice addition.
You just sold me out.
Oh, I did. Oh, see, now you have to be funny.
Be funny.
Not
funny,
only
be
is
funny.
he funny, he's extremely handsome,
Yeah. Yes.
talented,
Yes.
jack of all
I
trades.
have a face for television.
He's got this George Clooney thing going on.
But I'm on the podcast. No, I'm not George Clooney. You know George Clooney, the rumor is he doesn't need makeup. Like he doesn't do any makeup. No base, no powder, no nothing. No
Ever?
makeup.
Really?
Ever.
Really?
He's makeup ready, like, what's up?
Wow.
Wow, that's
George Clooney.
well, good for freaking
Good for-
George, man.
So I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know there's more of us like
Oh,
that out there.
cool. Well, I'm wearing makeup right now
I put on some base for the show.
for the show.
But nobody can see you.
This is audio only? No one told me that.
No, not really.
You can feel the bass come through.
Then why to wear this suit? Damn it.
You're very dapper.
Thank you.
Dapper. Thank you. You're going out after this.
Yes.
This isn't your whole night.
I'm classy as hell.
So we decided to go ahead and do Blazing Saddles.
Yes.
Which,
Otherwise known as Tex X or Black Bart.
or the Purple
Purple
Sage.
Sage. Yes. Blazing Saddles is a much better title.
Yes.
How did they end up at Blazing Saddles? I didn't find that out.
So Mel Brooks was in the shower, and it just came to him. He was literally taking a shower, popped right out, and when I got it, told his wife at the time, Anne Bancroft, I was like, "Hey, it's Blazing Saddles. What do you think?" And she was like, "Go with it."
I didn't know he was married. That's why Anne Bancroft is credited.
Yes.
Uncredited member of the parish.
That's right.
I saw that and I was like, why was Anne Bancroft in there? Did you see that?
I did not see that. No, that's interesting.
It's on
Wow.
IMDb and I didn't know he was married to her at the time.
Yeah. He one of the reasons he took the Blazing Saddles job was because his son Max Brooks was about to be born, and he had done 2 movies that had flopped. He'd been bashed for him by the New York Times, and he'd done the 12 Chairs, which was somewhat successful.
Yeah.
So he was down on his luck, and he needed to make some money. And Blazing Saddles came along,
So,
and he got very
Tex-X.
lucky.
It's wonderful. It happened.
Blazing Saddles. A Warner Brothers picture,
Yes.
1974.
Yeah.
Yeah,
45th anniversary.
that's pretty cool.
That's
That's insane. And Mel Brooks is one of him, and I think the guy who plays Lyle,
Yes.
Gilliam, are the only 2 of the 14-minute cast that's actually still alive. which
R.I.P.
is
everybody.
supposed to be- Yeah, right. R.I.P.
Everybody.
Everybody.
It
Everyone.
is. It's sad.
It is sad.
Written, because Richard Pryor's passed away.
Yeah.
He was one of the writers, a group of 5.
yes.
And
It was.
they were like, they would sit around and kind of, like old school TV kind of write it.
Right.
Like jokes and competition of jokes and messing around and writing it as they went along, which I thought was pretty interesting.
And they were drunk half the time, too. I heard they were just like kind of drunk and just telling jokes and yelling at each other. And I was like, well, I'm directing it, so I have the final say in all this. So it's
he
good
did.
for him.
Yeah. Andrew Bergman was the original writer, who went on to write such Academy Award-winning shows like Striptease. He wrote Blazing Saddles originally, and Warner Brothers wanted Alan Arkin to direct the film.
Correct, right.
From Get Smart and MASH. No, that's Alan Alda.
Oh, Alan Alda, right.
Yeah, Alan Arkin was Little Miss Sunshine, the granddad, and all that. And they wanted James Earl Jones to play Bart, the sheriff.
That'd have been a totally different movie. It's such a different movie.
And Mel wanted Richard Pryor to do it while they were writing. He's like, you should be Black Bart. But did you watch both docs?
I watched the commentary with just Mel Brooks, and
Yeah.
then I watched the featurette with him and a lot of the
A bunch
writers.
of the writers.
Yeah.
There was another one, so I bought mine on iTunes.
Ooh, nice.
Shameless plug.
I rented mine on demand. So.
You went on demand.
I went rented it, so shame on me.
Xfinity rent.
Xfinity.
See, it was the classic like rent for $3.99, and I was like, it's Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Bought it for $14.99 and got the featurettes.
Nice.
Ooh.
And he said in like the more recent featurette, it was like the 40th anniversary featurette. Because it was actually like HD and widescreen, as opposed to the other one, which was 3x4 and standard def. He said he wanted Richard Pryor, but he made it sound like Richard Pryor was kind of like a loose cannon. Like Pryor called him and he was like, "Where are you?" And he's like, "I'm in Cleveland." He's like, "What are you doing in Cleveland?" Richard Pryor was like, I don't know. And so they're like, "Well, I guess we better recast your part." And they like had people audition, and then what was his name?
Andrew Bergman?
And yeah, he came in and auditioned, and he was like, he's like, pretty much gave it to him on the spot. He's like, "You're the guy."
That's it.
He's like, "You're the guy." And Pryor was like, Pryor thought he was a better choice. He's like, he's a way better choice.
Yeah.
He's like more wholesome and handsome, and he's like, I think Richard Pryor even said he's actually literally even darker. He's like, which I think is funnier and works.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So instead of Richard Pryor.
Well, and then Gene Wilder, I guess, wasn't originally supposed to be the kid.
No.
I guess, Gig Young was, but Gig Young had an alcohol problem at the time, and he showed up drunk in his drunk scene at the cell. That was like the first thing they shot.
He was actually drunk.
He was actually drunk, so when he was hanging upside down, I guess he was just spewing stuff out of his mouth, and they had to close down set, and they're like, "Yeah, you can't. We're not." So they brought in Gene.
Which is funny. Gene doesn't. Well, I guess we should go through it.
Yeah.
We should start.
Let's do it.
Where does it start?
We are on the train.
Where am I got to pull up my notes.
Oh, yeah. So
the
they're
notes.
working on the railroad.
Yes, the railroad.
After the Academy Award nominated song plays Blazing Saddles.
Did you hear they told the singer that like it's a dramatic, serious film, so that he would take it seriously and sing it. It's funny. It sets the tone from the get go.
Yeah.
It sets the tone because they do like the cliche, whoopsh, the whip every 5 seconds.
Yes.
Blazing saddle, whoopsh, whoopsh, whoopsh. It like keeps hitting,
over again.
and it's funny. I'm like, that's funny. And it sets the tone right away. And then we start with our stereotypes right away.
Immediately. Immediately. Like, this movie could not have been made now, today. There's no way.
I don't think so, yeah. For so
goes through
many reasons.
It's
so
a
many
shame,
reasons.
too, man.
So many reasons.
Because you need movies like this.
Or, I don't know, maybe, we'll get there. We'll get there.
But I'm just saying. Just go right to it.
Stereotypes on the railroad.
Yeah.
Humor from the get-go. Which I don't know, it's funny. It's funny. It's a funny movie, but I feel like it kind of ramps up its funniness.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny and entertaining, but then, like, I feel like it gets really, really, really funny in, like, the last 20 minutes.
That's the most outrageous. I was laughing out loud. I'm like, this is amazing. Made the movie to me.
But I watched Blazing Saddles. Must have been, I don't know, man. Must have been, gosh, a long time ago. Maybe longer than I want to admit.
Yeah.
But I saw it a long time ago, so like I better refresh and watch it. So I watched it, and I remembered most of it. But yeah, there were parts. Like, I think since it's like kind of hits you with funny at the end, you leave like, oh, that's so funny. Because I started watching and I was like, this is funny, but I remember it being more funny.
Yes.
And then as it went on, I was like, oh, okay, there's the funny.
I had that exact same reaction because I hadn't seen it since, it was years. And I forgot about most of the movie. So I was watching and I'm like, oh, yeah, this has happened. And it started, and I remember thinking, this isn't like this is kind of sticky, especially the governor's scene with the paddles. I'm like, this is stupid shit. This is some silly
Give
stuff.
the governor her rump.
Yeah, and then
Silly shit, man.
and then once Gabby Johnson shows up and all that, it's like, okay, this is funny. And then that last 20 minutes, I was just rolling. I'm like, yes, this is why this movie is awesome.
I had the exact same reaction to.
It's been a while since you saw it,
The first time I ever saw this, I was in 6th grade. So
so it was really, really, really.
So
funny.
it was hysterical. I mean, not all the jokes landed, obviously, but growing up in that somewhat atmosphere, just with all the cowboys and everything all around, it was hilarious because it was so dead on.
Yeah.
So we quoted that movie a lot, being 6th graders. Maybe we shouldn't have.
I think there's lines in this movie that I think. I mean, obviously we use and quote today, but there's certain things that I'm like, I think that came from this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like, where the white women at?
yeah. Where the white women at?
Like, that's
Boys.
like. I mean, we all know Badges. We don't need no stinking Badges.
Yeah.
Is from Blazing Saddles, but like, where the white women at is so funny,
Yes.
and I think like we use it today. We don't even realize that we use it from Blazing Saddles.
Right.
But it's kind of a slow start, but I like it.
Yeah.
Mel Brooks being sticky, big, over the top.
Doing
Like
it.
just literally crossing his eyes. That's his character development. As the governor, his eyes are crossed.
Yes.
I'm like, all right.
You're like, okay, that's some sticky shit. That's just some
what
like,
we're
wow.
doing.
Well, and like little details too, like when they're at the beginning on the railroad and they're having that little push cart thing, and the two of them, and they hit the quicksand. And they started sinking. I mean, you notice the guy's arm, his left arm, you can see it like bending. So you can tell he's just bending over.
down.
I mean,
They're just
it
bending.
was, yeah.
And they're like, because they're kind of like not going straight down.
Yeah, they're kind of bending over, and you see his
Oh.
arm like he's up, like he's
Yeah.
holding onto something. You're like,
Like, wow, they had no money to shoot the
that's
quicksand scene.
cool, nice, nice.
no money for the quicksand scene. Oh, what was the budge? The budge was $2
million?
That's kind of a lot at the time. It feels like
Was
It
2-1.
it seems like a lot, but you think it would be more because of everything that goes on in this, especially the ending.
That huge, all the cast, huge.
2.6 million, yeah.
2.6. Yeah, it seems. I don't know. It's like you're like that doesn't seem like a lot, especially by today's standards. And you're like 1974. It feels like a lot, but there's a lot of setups. There at the
Yeah.
end. Breaking a lot of stuff, tearing a lot of stuff up. Shot at Warner Brothers, obviously Warner Brothers backlot,
Obviously. You see it all.
but then the exterior stuff. Do you guys recognize the exterior stuff?
No.
no.
It's what is it? It's called Vasquez Rocks, which is in LA County, or Vasquez Ridge.
Okay.
Vasquez Ridge. Vasquez.
Vasquez.
Vasquez, to quote Aliens too. Vasquez Ridge Rocks. They've shot a lot of westerns out there, but also notably they shot Star Trek, the original series. Star Trek
Where
TOS.
Star Trek comes from?
John's a huge Star Trek fan.
That's the Gorn, where like him and Gorn fight out in the middle of the rocks.
Yeah.
They even visit it in Big Bang Theory. They go there and they're like, oh, it's where Kirk fought Gorn. Like you can see that.
Is Gorn the green?
The green. Like,
Okay,
lizard
I
guy, yeah.
actually know that episode.
Everybody knows that episode.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
Vasquez Ridge or Vasquez Rocks, and it's in LA County, but it's like north past like Santa Clarita. But that's where they shot all that exterior stuff.
Okay.
So they still shot in LA and LA.
Okay.
LA like Superior.
Because I was wondering if it was like New Mexico. It looked very
It
New Mexico
looks like
esque,
New Mexico.
except for like the big rocks and stuff. I'm like, I don't know if that's too cool to be in New Mexico. No offense.
I had to. Whoa, easy. No, even I had to look it up because 99% of the time I can tell immediately if it's California or Arizona. I don't know. There's something about New Mexico landscapes.
Yeah.
This one was pretty good, and that I thought that's got to be southern, somewhere in the south.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, looks a lot like New Mexico. But then when I was like, nah, and I looked it up because I think what was like Bone Tomahawk shot up there too.
Yeah.
So you have a lot like
yep.
There's a couple of ranches that I think go back to the old kind of Western shooting days of Hollywood where they've stuck around. So you have all those. So even in '74, you still have those ranches up there, and you've got probably even some facades in some areas up past Santa Clarita. But that's where they shot it.
Oh, Oh, that's gorgeous.
It was nice.
It's very nice. I like
was
it.
no
I
corn.
like it a lot. I like it a lot.
And then and I like it's funny. It's like Gene Wilder's really credited, and Gene Wilder. Did you got told, but I'll ask Taylor. Did you realize how long it took for Gene Wilder to show up in this movie? Did you clock it?
No.
32 and a half minutes.
That's
the movie's
absurd.
only 93 minutes.
Yes, so that's a third of the movie.
A third of the movie.
He's got an hour.
He's got an hour. He's barely in
He
this.
basically shows up in the second act.
He shows yes, like him and Madeline Kahn's character.
She's hardly ever in it. She does her singing
hardly in
bit,
it.
and then
And our seduction bit, and then
that was it.
That's it.
and then you just see her at the end.
Which cracked me up when Harvey Korman, who plays Hedley Lamar, which I would kill for that kind of role.
Yeah.
That is one of the best roles ever.
Yeah.
He has Madeline Kahn tied up, on the stove, and then all of a sudden, she appears with Gene Wilder and Cleavon Little at the end of the movie. I mean, you don't know how she escaped.
Well, she just shows up. Shows up tied up.
Yeah.
You don't even lead to that.
You're right.
She just shows up like. I know. That's in my notes. Like hard cut to Lily Von Shtupp tied up. Like she's just there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't know what happened to her or why and how she got tied up, but then she's tied up in the corner, and then we don't know how she gets untied, and then she's untied and she's in a suit.
Yeah. You just
Like a tuxedo.
You're like, well, that just happened, so that's fine.
Teaching the Germans how to sing.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
I love that with Mel. Like nothing's off limits. Nothing.
Yes, he just does
Like
everything.
Nazis, and I don't know why. I don't know what his obsession with Nazis and Hitler is.
Yeah.
I don't know, but because then Hitler's in the commissary.
Yeah, and he's doing his Sig Heil
He's
stand in the background.
Yeah, he like Mel Brooks sneaks in like German soldiers 2 or 3 times, Adolf a couple of times.
Yeah.
And Hitler and the German soldiers all do the Heil.
The high
Heil
thing, they
salute.
switch arms.
They've
Yeah.
got
Switches
the-
those, yeah.
He's got the World War I soldiers, and he's got the World War II soldiers.
Yeah.
Then he's got Hitler.
Yeah, Hitler. he's got something about that.
Maybe it's just because he's Jewish, and that's his way of poking fun.
Did
at
he do
that.
the producers first? Did he do that first or after this?
I want to say that was
Producers.
So in the
I just
commentary,
looked that up.
he said something about
Producers
Right.
first, I thought.
yeah, and I thought that too. But that was a huge hit.
Yeah.
So
the producers.
Well, maybe the film was like maybe he did it on Broadway first.
and that's what I thought he did.
He did
And then
he
film.
did the theater version of the producers first. Then they did the film stuff, and then obviously redid it again recently with Broderick and
yeah.
and
Right.
him.
The 2005 version, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
So he must have done that earlier. So he has a real Hitler face.
Throw that in there. You got the KKK in there. You got it's got a little bit of everything for everybody in there.
The Hell's Angels crew.
Yes, the horse with the.
That horse did not like that.
No, you could
handlebar
tell
stick.
that horse was fidgety.
That horse was unhappy.
And that rig was unstable too. I'm like, that must have taken some training to put.
Yeah, you see, that's why I also feel like it wouldn't happen today. It's not just the language. Although I think if like Spike Lee wanted to do Blazing Saddles today, he could get away with it. Yeah. Quentin Tarantino gets away with a lot.
does.
Yes, he
Yes, he
does.
does.
But
That's
I
his
think
style.
there's other things beyond just the language and the racial stuff. But it's like the guy punches a horse, and the horse falls. And then if you notice when the very first time they're ransacking the Ridge Road, like that horse
Runs
like,
across
the water, like falls in the water, which I mean, like not just PETA, they're extreme, but like the ASPCA, like on every shoot, if you have animals on your set, you can have the Humane Society will actually show up. I think they show up for free. The Humane Society will, or the ASPCA, and if you pay them, then they'll like kind of give their stamp of approval and have somebody on set whenever there's animals on set. And I don't think the ASPCA or PETA or anybody would think it's okay to purposefully like run a horse into a dip and like have it fall.
Right.
That seems like super dangerous for everybody involved.
So was this before all those like those regulations
I'm
are all?
assuming
Like,
it's before PETA, but I think Humane Society and the ASPCA have been around a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't look that up.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm pretty.
We'll have to put that on the list of things to
Put
look
that
up.
on the-
Put that on the
on the
list of things to look up.
I think it already was established. But also Mel Brooks talks about the horses. And it was funny because watching that film, that was what pained me the most, was watching that horse when he slips across the bar, the wooden slabs and all that. And then when Mongo punches the other horse, Mel Brooks talked about that. He's like, yeah, he missed him by a foot, but we had these things tied around the horse's legs. He's like, we just gently pull, and the horse would fall right over. He said, we had two horses did a really good job that made it look like, that they were knocked out. It's like, well, maybe they were.
That doesn't seem okay. Well, like galloping, like he tries to get it at the very end when they're leaving the lot. Like they take that horse to a full gallop on the street, which is like that's not good for horses.
No, that's really bad. It's really bad
on
for
the
hooves
hard
and stuff.
pavement,
Yes.
like taking that going to a full gallop. Like it's just that kind of stuff. I'm like, I don't think you'd get away with that today.
No.
What animal was Mongo? Right? Is that like a water buffalo or like an ox or something?
Ox. It was
that
an
an ox?
ox.
Okay, ox. You notice the yes and no
Yeah.
on the back? Okay, so I had to look that up because I was really confused what that was referencing. And I guess it was an old 1950s reference to buses. I guess school buses used to paint like yes and no on the back of buses to distinguish which side you can pass the bus on.
Oh.
So yeah, that was a totally arbitrary. Because I was like,
Okay.
like, is that a weird like slapping reference? Like you slap one side, not the other, or like how?
was
What's the
waiting-
yes
I
no?
thought it was like a coin flip thing. Like,
Yeah,
yes,
like
no, is he
yeah,
gonna
like am I
beat
going to
you?
attack this town? Yes or no? Like
I thought it was a setup, and I was waiting for the punchline.
Exactly.
Which never came.
so I like wrote it down. And I had to look it up, and that's what it was.
I'm glad you actually did that because
Yeah.
I didn't, but I really wanted to know.
Yeah, for sure.
I did not look that up.
So I was like, what's going on with that?
Mongo, did you recognize Mongo, the actor?
He was a football player, right?
He was a college football player.
Really?
Famous college football player. Played in the NFL. Played for the Detroit Lions.
Oh.
And I guess he got busted in the NFL for betting on games while he was still in the NFL. And then he
Nice.
became the dad on Webster.
Oh,
I did not know.
recognize
No.
I was like,
I didn't recognize it at all.
They're like, that's the dad from Webster. Which they said was Richard Pryor's idea.
Oh,
He
nice.
said Mongo
Yeah.
was all Richard Pryor. He's like, Richard Pryor spent more time on Mongo than he spent on
Right.
Black Bart.
Because Mel Brooks was like, he said, we want to bring Richie in because that way we can get the black side of it. That way we can have a black writer do the black writing. He said, but he fixated more on Mongo's character, and Mel Brooks fixated more on Black Bart's character. So.
And then, did you know that the governor, the meaning behind his name,
The name?
Governor Lepotamine,
William J.
the
Lepine.
French. I'm going to read it because it's really funny. The character Governor Lepotamine was named after a popular turn-of-the-century French performer Joseph Pujol, whose stage name was Le Pétomane. Pujol was famous for his remarkable control of his abdominal muscles and enabled him to inhale air into his rectum and expel air upon command, farting at will. So literally, so his name literally means fartomatic. When you put the
French
Pinto and Maine together, that means fartomatic. So the governor's
Just blow
real
up.
name is Governor William Fartomatic.
So he's just blowing hot air all the time. And just,
Yeah,
There's a lot of subtle jokes.
a lot of things like that I never would
Because
have
I
picked
was
up
like,
on.
I was like, there's a joke there. I'm not getting it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the whole, like, I guess the rumor is with the whole farting scene around the campfire deal was that was the first time on screen they really had like a big farting gag.
That's
where
what
did
they
that.
said. That's what
Yeah.
Brooks said.
yeah.
Which, like, I guess, and he said too, some of them sounded fake as hell, like he was like,
Yeah.
but there's a few, they said that in the cutting room they had like passerbys like actually fart and actually record it.
You know what I like about it? I like about the movie, like listening to Mel talk about it, is like his true motivation of it all was like he loved Westerns and he wanted to make a Western parody. And they got like the cinematographer had, I guess this was Mel's like second or third movie. And so he was like, I just didn't know that much. And the cinematographer had done like 100 movies and had done Westerns. And Mel was like, should we like shoot it like a Western and like put like major Panavision and Technicolor? And the cinematographer was like, yeah, man, if you want a Western, he's like, well, I want a Western. So he's like, that's how they shot it.
Yeah, shot it anamorphic.
Shot it anamorphic.
Yeah.
Shot it in Technicolor. Shot it on Panavision cameras. Like, and they shot 2 cameras at a time.
Ooh,
film cameras.
That's sexy. Ooh, that's sexy.
And the cinematographer said, he's like,
Love
if
it.
you want it to cut together and match up well, like you got to shoot 2 cameras at a time. So Mel's like, all right, let's shoot 2 cameras at a time. There's where, I guess there's where the money went.
Yeah,
He's like, let's shoot 2 cameras at a time. So they did, and like all of his motivation was really like Western derivative. Like he's like every scene. He's like, I remember watching every scene in a Western. They're eating beans off of a tin plate with a tin spoon. He's like, if they're all eating beans all the time, somebody's got to be.
Just ripping it.
There's got to be something.
There's got to be.
Yeah.
What, motivation for the scene.
Exactly. So it
But I
made
like
sense,
that.
and they just had it, and it worked. It plays. It's
That's what I like about the whole thing. Like I feel
Yeah.
like Gene Wilder's almost more dramatic at certain parts.
He had a very like straight character, which was
I think he always kind of plays that. He kind of always plays a straight man.
yeah.
But man, like some of those scenes with him in Cleavon, you're like, this feels like dramatic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah, I got a little static.
I got static in my cans.
Static in my cans.
okay.
Is it recording that?
I have no idea. This setup is very good.
Excuse me, I have some static in my cans.
Static in my cans. You know what that means? It's comedy halftime. Hey!
Still, same people.
No
same
winners.
people,
No winners. No winners this week.
Oh, Danny came in the studio again.
Welcome back.
Nice. Nice. The cast is all gone. R.I.P. cast.
That's too bad.
But a great cast.
Such a good cast.
Cleavon Little, who he kind of did a lot, but not like he didn't really lead again.
No.
Like I remember him in the other stuff he's done, like Once Bitten. I remember him in Once Bitten. Once Bitten was Jim Carrey's like one, or no, was that Once Bitten was Jim Carrey or Nick Cage? I think it's both of them.
Okay.
Jim Carrey and Nick Cage.
That's a combo right there, folks.
Once Bitten.
Yes.
Cleavon's in Once
Wow.
Yeah, because Jim Carrey's on the poster. I remember he's
Yeah.
like smiling with blood running down his neck.
Bitten. It's a bad movie.
That looks awful.
1985. Yeah, it's bad.
A bad 80s movie.
It's a
on top
bad
of
80s
that.
movie. But Cleavon was in that. I remember him being in that.
Well, because is he more of a Broadway guy, right? So I think
Yeah.
Gene actually had to. I mean, Gene and them they hit it off pretty well, but Gene helped him, like gave him advice, like on kind of the more filmic acting. I guess he was
Yeah.
really helping him out with the scenes, and you can tell too. Cleon was he was big in areas. You can
Yeah.
tell it's very very Broadway in certain
Little
aspects.
streaky.
But
Well-
then again, it's this.
John Hillerman playing Hojo. Howard Johnson.
That was
I like
Higgins,
that subtle
right?
joke too. Yeah, he was Higgins from
Yeah.
Magnum PI. Is that where you recognized him?
Yeah, that's the only thing I ever knew him from was from Magnum PI. The one and only Higgins.
Yeah. Is Higgins a lady in the new one?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's a lady. It's a female. Oh, a lady. Yeah, she's an attractive lady. I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
But no, yeah, Hillerman was Higgins in PI, which I But you recognize everybody from something.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
David Huddleston played Olsen Johnson. He's like a huge favorite of the Coen brothers.
He's been
He's in a ton of
that.
Coen Brothers stuff.
He was the dad in Big Lebowski.
He's the Lebowski. He's Lebowski.
Yeah, that's right. He's
Lebowski. He's the other Lebowski. He's not the dude.
He's
Lebowski, and he's in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou as the mayor.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had
I love that movie.
cameo in
Yeah.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the Christmas episode. I think was like the second to last thing he ever did before he passed away.
Oh,
Yeah, gosh. God, everybody's got
So
Madeline.
depressing.
It is. Well, like Madeline Kahn, you hear like on the featurettes, Mel Brooks just singing her praises. He's like,
Yeah.
it's like she could sing, she could dance, she could do comedy, she could do drama. He's like, he said, which is a bold statement, he's like, no offense to any of the talented ladies, like even the Lucille Balls. He's like, but he's like, talent-wise, not necessarily just funny-wise,
Right.
but talent-wise, he's like, she was the most talented person.
She
He's
was.
like, like ever encountered. And you hear like she's singing, she's dancing. I thought she was really pretty too.
She was gorgeous.
In the singing, dancing.
I guess in the auditions, she was a little freaked out by Mel because he wanted to see her legs. And she's like, "Excuse me." So it was like hesitantly pulling it up, and she's like, "No touching."
Pulled up her skirt.
Pulled up her skirt. It was like, "No touching."
You stay over there.
He was like, "Don't worry, I'm married. You're about to be in a scene where you're showing off your legs and everything."
Yes.
And that was even more like him staying true to his sources. Like he wanted it to be like he didn't say it, but he kind of referenced was it Blue Angel with Marlene Dietrich. Mm-hmm. Did you ever see Blue Angel?
I did not.
That wasn't on your must-watch
That wasn't
list
on my must-watch
college.
list.
That wasn't on the film
Apparently,
school.
I need to put it on it right now.
Blue Angel. It's like I think it's German. It was a German film, so it's all subtitled. It's got Marlene Dietrich before she came to the U.S. and started doing Hollywood films.
Wow.
And so he wanted her to have kind of that look and style. So he was very specific about the black stockings, the black garters, and the legs. He's like, it's all about the legs in the scene. So he wanted to see her legs.
I mean, she looked good.
Another reason this film wouldn't work today.
Yes.
Oh
absolutely.
my gosh.
Pull up your skirt.
Pull up your skirt. You misogynistic asshole.
Oh man, dude, a lawsuit immediately.
I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
So Gene Wilder campaigned to be on this movie for the longest time, and Mel Brooks was like, "No, you're not right for it." And Gene Wilder kept going, I can do the Waco Kid. I am the Waco Kid. Mm-hmm. And Mel Brooks kept telling him no. And as you referenced earlier, he tried to get what was that guy's name?
Gig Young.
Yeah, Gig Young. Yeah, who spewed up the green stuff. They had to call the ambulance. Then they tried.
What was he drinking? Absinthe? Like, why was it green?
That's so in the featurette. When Mel Brooks originally went to this other gentleman who could sing and dance, and he got cold feet. He was going blind, and he didn't want to ride a horse.
Really?
So then Mel Brooks' second choice was Gig Young. Then after Gig Young, he talked to John Wayne, and John Wayne loved it, but was like, "I'm John Wayne."
Too blue.
He's like, it's too. He said it was.
I'll be the first one to buy a ticket.
Yeah,
I got to pass on it.
But he loved it. So finally, Mel Brooks is like, "All right, Gene." Because at first they were going to offer Hedley Lamar to Gene Wilder, and he's like, "No, that's not me."
It's not.
No,
he's like not at all. He's like not that silly, which is weird because you think of Gene Wilder as super silly, but I don't think he's that silly.
He's not. Like you said, like you referenced, he's the straight man in most of the things.
He's the best as the straight man.
Right. I mean, his hand bit's like the funniest thing. I laugh out loud on that. He's like, "See this hand?" He's like, "Yeah, it's really still." Well, this is my shooting hand, and he's just like waving his hand like erratically, like that's.
Well, some people call me, most people call me Jim, but. Call me Jim.
Jim. My name is Jim, but my friends call me Jim. I love the shaking hand bit.
Yes.
Shaking hand bit is like my favorite.
I
think it's my favorite bit of this whole movie.
Really?
I laugh every time, like out loud. I laugh at that one.
That's awesome.
I'm going back. Gene Wilder did Willy Wonka in 1971.
Oh,
because his hair is like the exact same in this as it is in Wonka. 1971 for Wonka, Blazing Saddles in 1974. Mm-hmm. And it says Young Frankenstein in 1974. So he must have done Young Frankenstein right after.
So Mel Brooks talked about this in the featurette. Whenever they would finish shooting for the day, they would go up to the hotel room, and Gene Wilder would make Earl Grey with some milk for both him and Mel Brooks. And Gene Wilder said, "Hey, I've got an idea. Young Frankenstein, hear me out." So they began writing Young Frankenstein while they were shooting Blazing Saddles.
See, Young Frankenstein is my fave.
Yeah.
It's my fave Mel Brooks. I love Young Frankenstein. It's my favorite. Because more Madeline Kahn, more Gene Wilder. Yep. They're my faves.
Marty Feldman.
That's a classic. I like that.
Oh, Marty Feldman is, and Peter Boyle, right?
Oh man, yeah.
That's my fave. It's my fave.
That's good.
And Gene Hackman as the blind man.
Out loud every time I watch.
Classic. I need to rewatch that.
Dude, Wilder was so awesome.
Wilder was
Silver Streak.
Yes.
See no evil, hear no evil. See no evil, hear no evil. I laugh so hard at that movie, And Lady in Red is really fun.
I never saw that one.
It's a cute little one. The Woman in Red, Kelly LeBrock.
Okay.
In her prime. And then it got bad. Haunted Honeymoon is bad.
I never saw that.
Never saw that either.
Well, and like I know our I don't know, our crew, Danny and Scotty.
Yeah.
He's not Gene's not in it, but they love Dracula Dead and Loving It. Mel Brooks. That's a bad.
That's
That's
one of my least favorite
I did not
Brooks.
see that either.
Oh, dude,
It is.
So you're saying I don't have to put that on the list?
Well, if you're talking to the Blood Brothers,
Oh yeah.
then you got to
That'll
put
be a
that on the
requirement.
list. But I worked at the movie theater when that came out. It was one of those movies. If you don't know this, listeners, it's the trick. If you really feel like your movie is that bad within like 15-20 minutes, you can go out to the lobby and like talk to a manager and be like, "This is atrocious."
Yeah.
And they'll refund your money. They won't refund you, but they'll give you passes.
Yeah.
For another movie.
Nice.
And it's pretty commonplace, really. And so, like, when I was working at the theater, like 15 minutes into that movie, the managers would, like, basically get ready and prep and go to, like, the booth and just get ready. Like, people are going to be coming out asking. Like, it was that.
Wow. Wow.
Kind of like I heard that Sherlock Holmes.
The new Sherlock Holmes, Holmes and Watson.
With Will Ferrell and.
Where people got up and left.
People got up and were like, this is a bad.
They like lasted 5 minutes and then they left.
This is not good. Which is bizarre. It's bizarre. I mean, I guess you could see Mel Brooks where like Dracula Dead and Loving It. Was that 23 years after this movie? Right. Maybe he's aging a little bit. But it's like, how do they get so, like, how does Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly hit with Step Brothers? But like,
and then dud.
Is it because we're like, oh, these are old bits, or are they just like getting unfunny? Or the classic example is Adam Sandler.
Yes.
Adam Sandler is the classic example.
Yes.
Because like, how is Billy Madison so awesome and so funny, and then like Happy Gilmore, you're like, oh my gosh, like Happy Gilmore is a classic, and then there's Blended.
Or that John and Jane or whatever the hell.
Jack and
Jill.
Did I get more mature? Or did he get less? I mean, he was already pretty immature.
Right.
Did he get worse and I got more older?
Is he that funny to that age now? I mean, I don't know. But it's...
That Netflix
I feel like it's
pretty resounding.
Yeah.
I think Netflix was like, hey, we see that people like to watch your movie at 2 a.m. We have a lot of Billy Madison hits at 2 a.m. Why don't you make some more movies?
Here's a 6 movie deal. Sign here.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Well, it's funny when they showed Blazing Saddles, they showed them, they had a screening for the executives of the studio, and nobody laughed. Mel thought it was going to be a complete disaster. Like, nobody laughed. He's like, oh, crap, this is... And then right away, he assembled a screening for the employees of the studio, and then it was like everyone was rioting. It was so funny.
Yeah.
He's like, thank God. So it's just really...
Yeah, he called up all the people in the movie and their friends, like Dom DeLuise, who plays Buddy Bazaar, the French director, which his wife is in the film as well. She's the school teacher, the one who's reading the letter to the governor.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're like, speak up. That's Dom DeLuise's wife. They called everyone they knew and they packed the house. He said Mel Brooks said could fit 200. He said they got 300 in there. Wow. That they were standing in the aisles, and he said, yeah, the crowd lost it and loved it. And that the next day at 8 a.m., he said he had just gotten out of the shower, and one of the execs for Warner Brothers called. He was like, why didn't you invite me? What's going on here? I hear this is the best movie ever made. And all that.
That's like classic L.A. people. It's like, this is funny. Like, there's no laughter. There's just, I like this. This is funny.
This is enjoyable.
This is enjoyable. And I watched when they all flood out onto the street, onto Olive, and I think it's Olive and Burbank.
Yeah.
When they all flood on the street, and it's in the IMDb notes, but Mel Brooks talked about it. He's like, there's this guy in a sweater just like hanging out on the corner. Did you
No.
catch it?
Oh yes, the guy he's in blue sweater by
He's
the
in
light
a blue
pole.
sweater, and everybody runs, and he's like just standing there, kind of looking around.
I never noticed.
Oh, it's awesome.
And Mel saw him like milling around. He's like, "Get that guy out of here!" So like the ADs like pushed him away, but then like they started filming, and he like roamed back into the shot. And they're like, well, "What should we do?" He's like, "Just keep him there. It's funny." Like it's just this dude from 1974 in a blue sweater. Mel's like, "Just get him to sign the release."
Yeah, they just gave him a release and signed
Yeah,
it. It's
signed
like,
the
you're going to be in a
release.
movie.
And he signed it, and he's like forever in Blazing Saddles,
He's that guy.
Amazing. Yes, yes.
just hanging out.
Look at it next time when like cross the street. You'll see this guy in a blue
just
sweater,
a
and he
dude
looks
hanging out.
confused. He's like, "Why is everybody
running
around in cowboy outfits?"
I even
And-
looked specifically all around to find people because when they first break out of the studio,
Yes.
at the beginning in the background you can see cars pulling forward. So I was just
Yeah.
hoping to find somebody. I guess I missed the most obvious one. So-
It's like a blue cardigan.
it is.
I like that. I like that about. That's one of the best parts of like especially older movies.
Right.
Like there's a guy from 1974.
Immortalized.
He's just hanging out.
He's just doing it.
Like
yeah.
that's a 1974 polyester sweater.
It's such a pure moment. He doesn't
vintage.
know what's going on.
It's real.
It's real.
It's organic.
It's authentic.
It's very organic.
Yeah, it is. I like it.
Yeah.
I like that.
You know what line I forgot, which I laughed out loud, was when they go to the. I think it was Slim Pickens. They go and they has the gate comes down.
Yes.
And he says, "How much is a dime? Tell somebody to go back. We're going to need a shitload of dimes."
Shitload of dimes.
Another thing, I bet you that shitload came from Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
I bet it did. Like, we need a shitload of dimes.
We always
good
would
point.
say that.
Yes, no, I say shitload for everything. It's just like, oh man, I'm gonna go eat a shit ton of tacos today, and it's like that's probably all a reference in Blazing Saddles. I didn't think about that.
Man, we're never going to make it to Rock Ridge now.
It was so funny. It's this little gate in the middle of nowhere. What was it, a dime? It was, I'm gonna go back and get a shit ton of dimes. This is gonna take forever. Shitload of dimes. Slim Pickens.
Harvey Korman. I'm going down the list.
Yeah.
I'm moving my fancy
Harvey
mic.
Korman.
Mel, Burton Gilliam. That's kind of the heavy hitters.
Those were the.
So I
Yeah,
read a-
Dom, and then an odd showing from Dom DeLuise at the very end.
Yeah.
Robin Hilton. She's Busty LaRue. She looked good.
She did.
Yeah.
And she was in like a Meatballs and something else, not much. Meatball or a Malibu Express Meatballs, the Single Girls.
Yeah, I looked up pictures of her after that.
Not so hot.
Downhill from there.
Dom DeLuise. Another Dom. You see, now this is what also won't fly today. Dom DeLuise throwing around all the gay jokes and the slurs.
Oh,
That's
yes.
one of my
I was like,
favorite
wow.
parts. Wrong!
Yeah.
Watch me.
Watch me. He's doing it. Dom's doing it.
Dom's doing it. I love it.
Also R.A.P. See, nobody's alive.
No.
Mel's
No.
the only one. Mel's 92.
Well, who's the guy that
92
played
years old.
Lyle? I think
Yeah, Lyle.
the guy Lyle.
Last I
something,
looked up, he was still
Gilliam.
yes, thank you. There we go.
I think he's still alive.
But I mean, he was born in like the 30s, I think.
Is he? Yes.
Yeah,
He's
I
still
think-
alive, born in 1938.
It's just
Wow.
it's funny because Mel, it was what, about 60 when he filmed this, and he was one of the older cast, and the fact that he's still alive is just he's 92, I think.
At,
92.
today is March 1st. Mel
Yeah.
Brooks, March 1st, 2018. Mel Brooks was here October 7th in Denver on October 7th, 2018. Sorry, we're in 2019. 2018.
Wow.
Doing a live presentation of Blazing Saddles. He was up here.
Really?
in
That's awesome.
Live Q&A. Yeah, and I wanted to go, and I was going to, and my mom, she came up and made a surprise trip. So
I did not.
couldn't go.
If I had known that, I would.
Yeah.
Honestly, I probably would have gone.
I was
Yeah, absolutely.
bummed that I
had
didn't get
no
to
idea.
go.
I'm impressed he's still you're traveling around and doing it. I want to
Yeah,
eat what he's
he's-
eating. What's his diet look like?
Well, no, isn't he in? Look this up. I think he's
Okay.
in. If I'm not in the obits, I'm eating breakfast. It was a movie on HBO. I think last year, which had like him and Betty White and Carl Reiner.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I just like they made it last year, and I just heard
I guess
about it.
he played the voice of Vlad in Hotel Transylvania 3 last year. And before
Adam
that,
Sandler.
it was Leap.
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler.
you know Adam Sandler, and I bet you money Seth MacFarlane is like a huge Mel Brooks fan.
Oh, guaranteed.
He's like he did nothing but hack Mel Brooks. That's all he's done. It's like singing and dancing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the.
Oh, he's not in it. I thought he was in. Yeah, it's
a lot of voiceovers.
If I'm not in the obits, I'm eating breakfast. Have you heard of it?
have to watch that.
Yeah, Betty White, Carl Reiner, like a bunch of people are in it. It was a movie it was an HBO movie.
Interesting.
Did I spell Betty White wrong? I did spell
It's
Betty
the
White
two
wrong.
Ts?
It's
Betty, it's got two
Betty.
Yeah, bro.
Not Bettie. There it is, Betty White. I'm on IMDb. If you're listening to this, I'm clicking around
Movie database.
on the IMDb bizzle.
What's that?
What's that? It's the Internet Movie Database.
What's IMDb bizzle?
Damn it!
I'm not seeing anybody on here. What am I losing my mind?
Did you make this? Was this an idea that you had?
No, man. No.
Sounds really cool, bro. Sounds like a cool idea.
No.
No, guy.
No, guy. If I'm not Carl Reiner, I'm telling you, Carl Reiner. I gotta look it up. I'm losing my mind. Well, I am losing my mind.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm losing my mind.
Haven't we all?
Oh, you bitch! I was just about to say that.
Yo, get out of here, yo bastard.
Yo, out of here,
Go on now. Go on, get. Yeah.
It must have been. They must have it under TV shows. It must be under TV. Oh no, it was a doc. I think that's why. So it's them as themselves. Right. Right.
So you have to go into the self.
I got to go on the self
of IMDb
category on IMDb, but I'm still not seeing it. So I am losing my mind.
Oh man.
If you're not in the obit, eat breakfast. That's what it's called. Mel is in it. Carl Reiner, Tony Bennett, Mel Brooks, Kirk Douglas.
Oh wow.
So it's a lot of older crew.
Wow.
Betty White, Stan Lee before he passed away.
Holy shit.
Carl Reiner tracks down several nonagerians to show how the twilight years can be rewarding. Documentary on HBO. I haven't watched it yet, but
Nice.
I need to because that's it.
Yeah.
You know, Mel's still in it. Carl's still in it. Funny guy's still doing it. Still hanging around.
Kirk's not right.
Kirk Douglas passed
Okay,
away.
that's
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Stan Lee passed away. So I think that was, what's the year on it? 2017. 2017. So
Dang,
a
I
couple
didn't-
years.
Okay.
Didn't know. I thought Kirk
Never
Douglas
even
had
heard of
passed away a long
I
time
thought Kirk
ago.
Douglas passed away like
No,
5 years ago.
no.
I didn't realize he was that recent.
Yeah, me neither.
That kind of surprised me.
He was,
Dang.
yeah.
He must
still
have been
doing
pretty
it.
I'm
old.
Spartacus.
Well, Betty's still doing it, man.
Yeah.
He passed away. Oh, no. Gosh, we're terrible. He's still alive.
What?
Kirk Douglas is still alive.
Who am I thinking of then? I'm thinking of someone.
Born in 1916. There's no...
He's 103.
Three. We're good at math.
Is that
We
really?
are. Well done. That never happens.
Yeah, right. I was like, you would have said 103. I would have said 107. It's
I've
like
been
114.
Still around?
Dang.
Wow. Touche.
Doing it.
Wow. Well, I want to eat what he's eating. Jeez.
Dude, all those old guys,
Nothing
man.
but almonds. Almond diet.
It's well, no,
Doing the
Brooks.
Tom Brady.
What is he? He's pink Himalayan sea salt. Occasionally.
Occasionally.
He will indulge in pink Himalayan sea salt.
Dude,
Embedded on some artisanal twine.
Mel Brooks even on the featurette talks about his diet. He
did?
He went into detail. He said, when I was brought in by Andrew, I forgot his last name, the one who originally wrote Blazing Saddles.
Mm-hmm.
He said that's when I was down on my luck, and he offered me lunch. He said, "Have you ate lunch?" And Mel Brooks was like, "No, I haven't." He said, "So we went and ate. I had eggs with some rye toast. I was still eating butter at the time, so I mean, he goes into his eating habits and then how he smoked nonstop, and
Really?
then one day realized on Blazing Saddles, he was like, I'm gonna kill myself. I need to stop. He said he's smoking like a pack a day, so he stopped. Just cut it out. And then he talked about Young Frankenstein with Marty Feldman. He said that guy smoked a cart, like the entire car. You know how what was like a 24 pack of cigarettes came in a car. He said he like smoked one of those a day, just nonstop.
Ooh, that's brutal.
Yeah,
That's a job.
That's like work to
Have
do.
you ever
that.
done the math on that? Dude, like 20 cigarettes a day. That basically means you're smoking, if you're just smoking a pack, it's like one cigarette every 15 minutes.
Jeez.
How do you get anything done?
That's what you don't.
You don't, yeah.
And this guy's going through a carton a day.
Wow.
Well, that was, who was it? Was it Richard Harris who was on Gladiator that died? He like drank a bottle of wine at lunch. He would drink a bottle of wine at lunch.
That was the dad, right?
Was it? Oh no, it was the dad. It was, I can't remember which one it was. One of the older guys on Gladiator.
Yeah.
You died on the set of Gladiator.
That's right, yeah.
And Ridley Scott had to like CG him in for the rest of the movie.
It wasn't the one who.
him in, didn't he?
It wasn't the one who bought Maximus. Right?
It might, was that it? Now I got
That's the one that we talked about. He's got a crazy history, man, with Orson Welles, and he was on all kinds of like ahead of its time, like movies that are still referenced and used as the blueprint for films today.
Right. Yeah.
This guy, he was the one who wrote. Oh, what was that? Touch of Evil. Yeah, he directed Touch of Evil that has the longest one take
shot
in history.
Still,
yeah,
which is nutty because you think with digital today that they would take that over, but they haven't.
They haven't yet. Wow, that's impressive.
That's speaking of groundbreaking films. We'll bring it back to Blazing Saddles.
Hey.
It was he calls it. Mel said, "I'm not afraid to say it. I think it's the greatest comedy of all time." It's funny.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I would call it the greatest comedy of all time.
Yeah.
Personally, I do think it's funny. It's not one of. I mean, it's one of my. I like it a lot. It's my favorite. Mel Brooks is still Young Frankenstein.
The last 20 minutes is probably in my top 20 moments of a comedy.
That's it. Like I'm like, this is entertaining. This is fun. It's funny. It's got some funny jokes. And then I'm like laughing the last 20 minutes. I'm laughing.
Yes.
When they get off the horses and give them obviously to the trainer, and then they get in the car, away.
Into the sunset.
That is. When it goes over the top, just for the sake of going over the top, I think it's really because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
because they're in the fake town, they're in fake Ridge Rock, but then all of a sudden they're in real Ridge Rock.
It just cuts to it, like they're just happen to be there.
And then real Ridge Rock is the back lot, and then they're on some. It's just the commissary bit. The commissary stuff is so funny.
Funny shit, man.
When he goes when he like comes out of the men's room and like tries to sneak back into the sneaks back in the men's room and then comes back out with like that stuff is so funny. It's so funny to me.
I just love how it keeps going too. They're just like busting through a wall, doing their thing. It's just, oh my god, it just keeps going. Yeah.
I work for Mel Brooks.
Not in the face. Like that's classic stuff. No, not in the face. Thank you. Thank you.
And then the cowboy and the gay singer, they go through the tunnel.
Yeah.
And then they come out the other end. And
I'm parked over at the commissary.
they're all holding hands.
I love the movie theater bit, going into the movie theater.
Oh yeah, he goes in there and sits down, and he sees him running up. Oh shit, gets up,
dude,
runs out.
That's my favorite part of Harvey Korman. You said your favorite line is, your favorite scene is Jim with his hand. Mm-hmm. My favorite is when Harvey Korman's talking by himself and looking at the camera, and he goes, "Why am I asking you?"
Yeah,
like, I don't know why I love that part.
It's classic.
And then at the end, the whole taxi, student or child.
He says student.
Yeah, that's a student.
Oh yeah, student. Nice try, bud.
Pain in the ass.
Man, he like really tried.
Raisinets. Shit.
He like sits on a guy. Yeah, but
and that's Mel Brooks' audio. You can that's not who he sits on, but you can tell that's his ADR.
And even when they cut back to the Western town, Gene Wilder's sitting there with a thing of popcorn.
Yeah. I hope they have a happy ending. I love a happy ending.
Dude, that is. I just That's funny.
That is just funny shit. I'm sorry. That's great.
It's so funny to me. That whole ending is just, it's a riot. It's a riot.
I like when they blow up the fake Rock Ridge with all the cowboys in it, and you see the dummy horses fly like 100 feet in the air.
The dummy horse. How did they get that high?
I don't know.
That I would like to hear Mel Brooks talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's like a small little explosion, then it zooms out. Boom! You just see dead bodies flying.
And then when the banditos flip over the horse, like it's like the fakest horse.
Yes.
He just flips it over.
Yeah.
You're like, that's so funny.
It's hilarious. It's like
that's funny slapstick.
Yeah.
Fun, because I don't see it coming, but it's slapstick and it's a riot.
Right.
I was rolling. Because I remember the premise and all that stuff, and I remember my favorite jokes, but I forgot some of that stuff.
Oh, I totally forgot that last 20 minutes. So it hit me by surprise.
Yeah.
I watched it. I'm like, wow, yeah. Oh, wow. They literally are busting through. They're doing the musical scene, and the musical scene's going on for 5 minutes. And they're doing like that. And put your hips back, and then you thrust. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, hands on your hips. They come in and just bust in. They like fight for a bit, and they go to that dining hall, and Hitler's in there. And
They lose me in the bunker scene.
Hitler comes back and like.
Why is he in the background, Zeke Highland?
I know, just standing up on the cafeteria line, just with his hands up.
Why would he do that?
Why would he do that?
It's funny.
It's good.
And then the Hollywood tour going through the food fight.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
And then they come out covered in pie and food.
And now next up is
the special effects. And I love
So good.
when Harvey Korman comes out of the theater, freeze, like he does the noise. Did you notice that?
I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
It does, like,
Black
a break
Bart
noise, yeah.
goes freeze, and it's that cartoon. But I mean, Harvey Korman makes the noise and freezes. I was like, dude, that's just genius.
It's just so funny. It's just funny stuff, man.
I think it's the little things like that, and like Madeline Kahn, like when she goes to lean. When she goes to lean on the corner when she's doing a song and dance and she misses it,
Yeah.
and she like has to look. Like that's so simple and it's so subtle, but it's so funny to me. And I bet that those are the moments that aren't directed. Like those are the moments of the actors just like doing their thing, being in character, being in the moment, just being funny,
Yes.
joking around, where like just that little stuff comes out. Which
Yes.
which is my favorite stuff. Those little jokes are
The little things, yeah, those make it, and I feel like this movie is just filled with those kind of moments. It's just nothing but,
especially the
things.
first hour.
Oh my God, yes, for real.
It is. I'm like, okay, this is a classic. Why do I remember what's going? And then I'm laughing. I think that's the secret. Like, kind of don't like put all your jokes in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, all the
and there was
funny
there
bits.
was a riot.
Yeah,
it was so
dude,
good.
that's all you remember is the beginning and the end, and
upon you're leaving, you're like, there was the best.
Top 10 comedies by far.
Well, that's the problem. Honestly, it's 93 minutes is the runtime. Mm-hmm. I think one of the biggest issues with comedies today is they're too long.
Yes, thank you.
Like I love 40-Year-Old Virgin. Like the first hour and a half of 40-Year-Old Virgin is so funny, and then it keeps going. You're like, just stop.
Yeah.
Like we know you're gonna get with her in the end. We know it's gonna happen. Just wrap it up. Like Mel Brooks is not afraid to go for the obvious.
Yes.
He's like, this is the obvious joke. We're doing the obvious joke.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna do the obvious joke again. We're gonna beat the dead
And we're going to
horse.
slam it in your
Yes.
face as
Yes.
much as possible. Yeah.
Not afraid to go for it.
Yeah.
You were talking about Madeline Kahn when she misses her hand, when she puts her hand up to lean. I liked when she's singing and the song keeps going and she's like, da-da, da-da-dee, da-da-da. Just like, she thinks it's over with it.
And it's tired. She's tired.
Let's face it.
Those are my notes.
Yeah.
Those are my notes on Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, that covered it for me. The one little detail that I thought was hilarious, the small little thing was the ice cream parlor, how it had the one flavor sign.
Yes.
I think that's I just think that's so funny.
I caught that too.
I like
Hojo's. Howard Johnson.
Yeah.
Howard Johnson ice cream, one flavor.
One flavor. Makes me really want to like make an ice cream store with like just one, just
one
to
flavor.
copy that one flavor and make it like a like coconut flavor. Like have it just like the
Bubble
worst
gum?
flavor. Yeah, bubble gum. Like,
Lima bean.
can I get vanilla? We don't have vanilla here.
One flavor.
We have pomegranate ice cream and that's it.
Pistachio.
Pistachio ice cream.
Does anybody eat pistachio?
You eat pistachios? What?
We actually
Ice
have pistachio ice cream.
I'm not a pistachio. I will eat pistachio.
I like pistachios.
I've never had the ice cream. I
That
don't like
sounds weird.
pistachios.
Yeah.
I will not eat the iced cream.
Hard pass.
Hard pass.
Hard pass. Well, nice, guys. Well,
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles,
It is a
everybody.
classic. You must watch it.
yes.
I think it's is it in AFI's top 100?
Number 6.
Number
comedy
6.
ever.
It's
Best
on number
comedy ever
6. Wow.
Number 6
Okay.
comedy or number 6 movie?
made. Number 6
guessing
comedy.
comedy.
It's on
yeah.
AFI's comedy. I think it's on AFI's top 100.
I think it is too.
Movies.
But it's rated the number 6 best comedy ever made.
What's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
I don't know.
Tune in next week.
Tune in next week. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Number 5 coming next
Are we
week.
going to go on the Mel Brooks train? Or are we?
Ooh, I could dive into some Mel Brooks.
I was going to say I've got every single movie he's ever made.
You've got
Perfect.
the box set.
The
For
entire
$20 on
That's what I was
Blu-ray,
telling
it blows
Jason
my mind
Potter
you
about.
can get
It's
that.
the Mel Brooks collection. Every movie he ever did, packed to the brim with featurettes and everything, with every film he ever made. And I only bought it for. I already had Blazing Saddles, but I bought it because I had Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, History of the World Part 1, and Robin Hood Men in Tights. Those were my favorite because Spaceballs was funny, but
I like Spaceballs.
I did
It's been
too,
you know
but-
it's been a while.
but
Yeah.
I didn't think it was as because a lot of people fall down over like they're just it's the greatest. Like it's not though. It's not his best. I think Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, History of the World Part 1 by far surpass
Yes, those are
Spaceballs.
hilarious.
Was there History of the World Part 2?
No.
That's just.
That's the joke.
That's the because
They should have called it. They should have called it Part 3 and not even made it Part 1 and 2.
Did y'all ever see History of the World Part 1?
I don't think I've ever seen
I
it.
haven't seen it the whole way through. I've seen clips of it.
Is
I've
it
not seen it all the way through.
sketches? Or is it
No. It goes through the history of the
It
world
does.
all the way up until the French Inquisition.
All right.
And that's where It's Good to Be the King comes from and all that. But no, the movie ends with a preview of Part 2, which to feed back into what you were talking about earlier about
That's the
Mel
joke.
Brooks' fascination with Hitler, it starts off with Jews in space and then Hitler on ice and Hitler's ice skating and the Star of David is the Jew spaceship and it's like flying through space.
Of course it is. Of course.
He loves Hitler jokes.
It does.
It's Mel Brooks, everybody.
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles.
Awesome. Well, cool. It's been fun. It's been real.
It's been real fun.
Yeah.
I thought.
This was a
Awesome.
blast.
Yes.
Thank
This will
you.
be the first one that everybody finally gets to hear.
Yeah, I think so. Actually,
Seal of
hopefully,
approval.
yeah.
Number 4.
Number 4, right? Is that what we're on? It feels like we've done 7.
It does. It does.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, John. Thank you
Well, thank
very
you.
much. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be a good little trio here. So
I dig.
I dig it. Yeah.
Can you
So
dig it?
So maybe Mel Brooks. Maybe
Maybe
that's
Mel
our-
Brooks.
Maybe.
We'll keep you all on edge. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
but maybe
Yeah,
Mel
we
Brooks.
we don't give it away. It's always a surprise for the following week, just in case some of y'all don't like Mel
So
Brooks.
we'll find out what you're gonna
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Get ready to watch it
Boom.
and listen.
Follow me at that Potter dude.
Follow me at that Taint Splinter.
Is it that taint?
It's no. you bitch.
Everyone's following the wrong person right now. At that Taint
No, no,
Splinter
no,
is
no,
getting
no,
a
no.
lot of followers right now. It's like, who the hell are these people?
I know some dickhead's gonna make it up now. No. It's just Taint Splinter.
On all social medias.
Yeah, so I don't have Instagram at all.
I'm
I
not
just
on the
just
Insta.
Twitter.
See, I do the Insta is my one thing. I have a Twitter. I basically repost everything John posts, so I don't have anything original on there.
Rocket Joe, ROCKETTJO on Twitter. On the Twitagra.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I thank you for having me. I'll see you next week.
Well,
We'll see
you're
you
part
all
of this
next
team now.
See you all
Cowboy.
next time.
So I'll blow this man's brains all over this town.